One of my favorite games of all time was Legend of Dragoon, and it was also a game that never got a sequel to it. I would have loved to have seen at least a prequel to the game as a sequel, if nothing else.
Well, it always baffled me that there never was a sequel, prequel, or spiritual successor to this game, because it seemed like it would have been so easy for it to be a franchise. Like, there should at least have been a trilogy of Legend of Dragoon games. The game has a pretty big fan base. It was on the PlayStation's greatest hits. It had great music, great graphics for the time, and a combat system that you either loved it or you hated it, and I for one loved it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, I seen some of the reviews it got, like on IGN and GameSpot. I think those were pretty
wrong. They were wrong.
Yeah, they were pretty harsh. It was being criticized for the way the additions are. Like, they were saying it was too precise. Like, the controls are on point, but you're saying you have to be too perfect to get it right. Like, no, just get it right. Just master it. That's the whole point of the game. You gotta master it so you can add additional damage to the damage that you're doing so far.
The only reason I could even fathom to justify the criticism of the combat was it's so different from a traditional RPG, which is you just press a button and the damage is done. Any type of extra damage would be dealt based off of strategy or off of luck, whereas Legend of Dragoon uses skill and timing that closer resembles a fighting game than RPG as far as combat goes with time.
So as far as seeing a sequel to this game, I would have liked to have seen a prequel. Now, for anybody that doesn't know the story, I don't want to get too much into the story, but basically it ends up talking about they had a time where humans were slaves to other humanoids called the Winglies. And throughout the game, it was talking about how back in the past, the humans had liberated themselves from the Winglies with the use of dragons. So I would have liked to have seen a prequel in that era where the humans of that time and the Dragoons of that time were actually fighting the Winglies.
Yeah, so a prequel would have been a lot easier to do than a sequel, because the way the game ends, there's not a whole lot of room to start events after the events in the original Legend of Dragoon game. Whereas a prequel, there's so many different directions you can go. You can go to the original Dragoons, who are the warriors who control the dragons. You could take things from the perspective of Winglies. You could take things from the perspective of regular humans who were just fighting for their freedom. So a prequel, there's a lot of rich history just in that one game that can be tapped into.
And it wasn't just the humans that were fighting for liberation at that time also. There's other humanoids and animals that were fighting for the liberation. And they also still had something bigger than both of them that the Winglies knew about, but the humans did not know about at the time. So having a plot where at some point in time, at least one of the humans could figure out what's going on with what the Winglies are doing as far as that goes, that would have been a nice element before, the whole thing comes together for the last big climactic showdown. Most of the people that's actually watching this probably already knows the story and how this is going to go about, but one of the actual main characters from the Legend of Dragoon, they lived back in that time. So having them be the actual main character from back then would be easy to do, because there's still a Dragoon. There was a Dragoon back then. They had a romance back then. I mean, it had like plenty of different things you could look at and just make a story out of it and just run with it. And at this point in time, I think it would be a good idea. Legend of Dragoon was already an exclusive for Sony PlayStation. So having another exclusive for Sony would be a good idea.
Yeah, I have to agree, having another exclusive for Sony would be a great idea, because it seems like almost all the huge games are cross-platform at this point, and Sony could use something that's exclusive to them and only them. With the PlayStation 4 really lacking an exclusive killer app at this point, and Legend of Dragoon could really be that.
Sony, stop messing around, just make it happen. From what I had seen, it was rumored that they was initially going to have Dart, which is the main character from Legend of Dragoon, actually be in All Stars Battle Royale. Is that called? I can't remember, man. I ain't play that game. Go ahead.
I ain't played it either, to be honest. But you know, if Dart was there,
I would have played it. I would have thought about at least buying that game. I had no thoughts whatsoever to buy that game. But if Dart was in that game, I might have would have bought it used. But still, I would have got it, and I would have got that DLC for Dart.
I gotta agree with you. I mean, I don't want to create too much of a segue here, but using a character like Dart could have really helped with the cast of PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, who just seemed to lack that nostalgia factor that Super Smash Bros. Has.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to say is, pretty soon I will be coming out with my own Let's Play for Legend of Dragoon. So for anybody that has not seen it yet, or if you already seen it and you just want to see how I play it, just stay tuned. As always, thanks for watching. If you like the video, please like, subscribe, and share.